So welcome. It is what is January 22nd. It is Wednesday, and this is the AI Power 20, but where I get answer your questions. So super excited to have you guys on here, and I love it that you get your videos on. Please mute until you've got a question, and I'd love if you have the questions today that you unmute yourself. Doesn't matter where you're at, and we'll be able to go through it. But what I've really been focusing on, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek of why it is that each week I'm doing some of these each with each. Let me get this open right here. What I've been doing is building out this system, and I'm going to start sharing it next week for anybody who wants to use it. And we're getting leads from it. We have a team here at Bimoto that we do the advertising, where we're extremely committed to the advertising. Hey, Jacob from Chicago. And it's crazy that over the holidays, it's very difficult for advertising to work because people don't show up. Now, maybe if you've got a gadget or something like that that's going to sell for Christmas, well, good for you. But for a lot of us businesses that sell services, it's always very difficult over the holidays to get people to show up and to be able to get quality leads. So we've been working very hard at this new program, what we call Dominate Your Niche. And we have gotten more free leads, quality leads. We got John from Florida. Welcome, John. We've got more quality leads from user-generated content on LinkedIn and X than we have with thousands of dollars of advertising. Right, Chris?
I read that.
That is exciting, especially for somebody who has to pay the credit card bill for those things. So I hope that you guys want to take advantage of what we're going to share with you in this. And what we're doing is we're showing how to crack the X code. It's the same thing with LinkedIn, and these assignments that I'm doing each week are based upon just the step-by-step process of what we're doing. And so this week, what we did is we talked about creating your unique value proposition. And so I know that we've got agency owners on here. So Jillian, let me ask you if you're willing to turn your video back on, and I'll put the video of everybody right here that the people on Webinar Jam can see that. Jillian, when you as an agency owner, do you mind explaining some of the difficulty that your clients have in defining their unique value?
It's always harder to talk about yourself
Yeah.
than somebody else. And I think that's because if you're in the frame, you can't see the picture kind of thing. So it's really nice to be able to use the tools and the flows that we have on Bimoto to help them walk through their own ideas and organize them and then articulate it in a way that we can use to generate effective content.
Yeah. Yep, without question. And so one of the things that you can see on here that I did this week, I'll move these these videos. Let me find a place that's not going to get in the way. I'll put them. Goodness, I'll put them on the right side of my screen. How about that? And one of the things that we're trying to do with this X is that most people are not copywriters. I think that please put in the comments or unmute yourself. How many people have you ever brought on as a client, or you have a tough time coming up with ideas, have a tough time understanding yourself? Because content isn't easy to create. It's very difficult for most people. So, anybody out here just really fancy themselves as a great copywriter? See a couple smiles on over there. No one? Well, I don't know. I like it. Christina,
Well,
everyone's go ahead.
even if you like it, there's the time commitment.
Yes.
And so you may like writing, but then there's the time. So let's say you like it, and then, okay, let's say you have the time, then you have to be in the right mindset to do it.
Yes.
And that can often take even longer to spin in your desk chair 45 times to feel motivated to actually do it.
Yes, there's no question that even if you're good at it, you do have to be not distracted to be able to do it. And so one of the things that, that really got me to start writing this is I saw a tweet, and I haven't saved the tweet, but it was a copywriter who's good, but on it he said, "You're wasting your God-given talent as a copywriter if you use artificial intelligence." And I thought, what an elitist. What an elitist. Come on. You're so cool that you can castigate the rest of us because we're using something that helps us. And I constantly go back to this. Most books, most autobiographies are never written by the author. Never. They use ghostwriters. And after I graduated from law school, I worked for a judge. And the judge had 3 separate law clerks. I was one of 3 law clerks. We did all of the writing, all of the research, and he, of course, had to coach me when I first came in. But within a couple months, I was able to really get his tone, his style, his approach. And he would go and I'd bring it to him. He would take out that little marker and say, change this, change this, change this, and then it's done. And then guess who took all the credit for my hours and hours of research? He did, right? He did. And all of a sudden, we have some copywriter out there saying, "Oh, you got this God-given gift. Why waste it?" Yeah, I think that if that's all you had to do is copywriting, then you'd be okay. So I think that that's really what we're trying to show with this. And I can tell you, I showed you last week, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen as well. This is how much money I spent. This is my Google ad, or my Meta, my Facebook ad account that you can see right here. Anyone want to point out, and I'll highlight it for you, how much money I spent learning how to do advertising? And Christina, just for anybody who I haven't used this example with, can you tell everybody how much business we got from that 21,000 and change of advertising?
I think Jeff, you got a lot of zero. I think zero.
Mostly zeros. I got $200. $200. Thomas knows it because he's been on here enough. And here's the biggest problem is I had almost $19,000 in coaching fees. $40,000 for $2,200. Who can absorb that? What normal person has the guts to absorb $40,000 of losses? And I know my wife is on here listening to this, and she's like, "Yes, he's an idiot." I'm not so much an idiot as I have a high threshold for experimentation on these things, and I certainly will take challenge. I will take on risks. This is also what I want you to see. This is today's X account. You can see these dips right here. These dips are when we changed our profile picture. Okay, so right here it's going back up again, and you're going to see that our impressions now, the last time I showed this, were about 110,000 over 30 days. I haven't used my X account the proper way since 2009, and I just got a whole bunch, I got 1,000 followers just because it opened. It was easy then. But this is what's beautiful, as I'm getting a ton of profile visits. You're seeing a spike, and you're going to see, as Christina and I implement this even more, what we're going to be sharing with you each week, this is just going to spike and go up and up and up and up. And the beautiful part about it is most people are willing to spend an hour per day. Most people are willing to spend an hour per day to be able to build their business with user-generated content, especially after I show them the tools that they have to be able to do this. So it looks like Mary just wrote, "That's painful." Yes, it's painful. Hey, it looks like we got some good people on the webinar jam. We've got Gila from New York. Good to have you. So thank you for being on. And I would just want to share with you guys this process. And this week, what I put on here, the first thing that you really need to do is you really do need to determine your niche. So you saw in a previous call, I walked through that. And if you get into Bimoto, all of these templates that I've been building recently are in one of 2 places. One is in niche domination. These are all available to you now. This is a really fun one. If you're not knowing what to sell on Bimoto, online, you can use this one. It's a step-by-step process to help you discover your talents, your passions, and your desires to sell a high-ticket product. And it'll actually give you some recommendations on how to pay for it. But what I did last week was discovering your passion. And I do a lot of interacting with other creators and business owners on X now and LinkedIn. And it's really crazy how few people can maintain what it takes to do on the everyday in order to start to build your market. So if you don't have your passion, you're going to give up. If you don't like it, there's too many bumps along the way and you're going to give up. So that's what I did last week. What I did for today right here is, let's see, crafting your unique value proposition. So first of all, you need to know why you're excited and how it is that you're going to relate to that niche. So how do you sell to that niche? Then you truly need to be able to define your unique value proposition. And so I added this template as well, and discover possible high tickets. So once you're able to really craft what you like and what you love to do, and inside of this document that I'm going to share with you guys hopefully next week, is you do have to put out massive quantity and quality content. And super important, Christina, what is as important as anything that we have found in order to grow these accounts in ways and connect with great people? What have we found as to be the number one reason that people are starting to interact with us as we start to aggressively build our X and our LinkedIn account? Put her on the spot. What is it, Chris?
Like, I've been doing a lot, and what is it? Is it so I've been doing a lot actually. So first is really the engagement.
Engagement. You just said it right there. Look at that. That's kind of like my law school professor. My law school professor would always call on me on the day that I wasn't quite sure of the answer. And then Professor Beard, oh my goodness. He beat the tarnation out of me so many times. I think he knew my dad was the judge, of course. So he, of course, singled me out a couple times. I got better. But Christina was a little bit like, what's he going for? It's the engagement. And we're going to show you that next time. It is a game changer. And the thing that I would tell you, if you're out there building and you're not engaging, you're out putting content and it's great content, and you're sitting back and thinking, why did only 4 people watch that? I've been doing it for a year, dang it. Why is nobody engaging with me? And what's the answer, Christina? Why did nobody engage with us on LinkedIn and on X before December?
Because we don't care about them, and we only care about ourselves.
Oh my gosh, she said the truth. We were acting so selfishly. We were outputting, and we were spending hours and hours on our content creation, and nobody was watching. And our Instagram took off, but YouTube was poor, X was poor. I would write this killer article and I was so proud of it, and then I'd have like 4 people look at it, and one of them I'm sure was Christina. And then all of a sudden in December we started going through, it's like, we better do the right thing. We got to go out and network in real business. Before the pandemic, when we weren't all on these Zooms and GoToWebinars and everything, what did we do? We met with people. We talked with people. We shook hands with people. We asked them about their business, right? But why don't we do that anymore? Go ahead.
That you were treating it like a billboard,
yes,
and not like a coffee shop.
Yes. See, Jillian, that's why you gotta. I don't care if you don't feel very well. You have to be on the calls because she says it's so nice. Yes, we were broadcasting the world like a billboard, but we weren't at a coffee shop where we were meeting people. We're pack animals. I say this all the time. We are not meant to live in isolation. We're not meant to just broadcast and never receive. So what we found, the biggest change that we've made, and we do it in massive scale, and that's what we're going to start to teach you in this in this what we're doing. But just like Jillian said, she's come up with some really good ones today. It's really hard to be creative when you have so many other worries and concerns. It's very difficult to put yourself in the state of the mental state to be able to really add value on people's posts. And we're going to show you what we're doing, and you still have to own it. You still have to, to make it your own. But we've been training our avatars to help give us initial first drafts and then how to make it sound like us. And so it is taking 95% of the load off of our shoulders, wouldn't you say, Christina?
Great job.
It's been a game changer. So as we go through this, and like we said last week, as we talked about finding your passion. If you're going to succeed as an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, or even an employee that has to create creative, you must find the passion that keeps you going. It can't just be dollars. It can't just be for fame. It has to be something very much deep inside of you that pushes you. So that's why, as I show you the different templates, I do recommend that you go through and you discover your passion. And this is going to give you some good hints on how to take that passion and make it work on social media for you. And then this week, unless somebody has a question about creating your UVP, your unique value proposition, and that's what I did last week. Let me pull that, or that's what I did yesterday for you. And it was fun. And it gave me my UVP for Bimoto again. And it's fun for me to know as I go through this. It's really cool. I spent hours creating these different templates for you. And I helped Christina with some templates last week. Christina, what is my process every single time I make one of these templates for you guys?
Wow. I didn't imagine that was so difficult. Like, it's really a constant testing, constant iteration. I mean, it's, for me, like I said, like, Jeff, wow, this is difficult. And Jeff, like, is creating a lot of because you don't have to rewrite it over and over again. So if you do it right the first time with a template, you spend a few hours, but the results, game changer.
And I think the beautiful part about that is that I will continue to teach people how to create their own templates, but the vision that we have at Bimoto is to give you the ultimate small business machine. The ultimate small business machine to be able to help you not just output content, but to truly be able to build your business in the process with it. Michael just wrote, is there any training on how to build a template in Bimoto? That's a great question. Yes, I've done it. So Christine, you may want to perhaps on my, Christina, give everybody my LinkedIn account and also my YouTube account, or sorry, my Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter account. And then hit me up on that, or send us a direct message in the mastermind, and Christina, you can send it to them. So just hit me, follow me, do a direct message, and we're happy to show you some of these. We'd have to dig it out of the vault, but there's a real process to it, Michael. And when you understand it, I make templates for everything that I do. I automate everything that I do. I do lots of different, I've been doing this course, and in this course, I trained it on how I write and the way I want to. And it is significantly improved and sped up something that probably would have taken me 4 or 5 months to put all of this together. But the thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is each week, as I give you these different assignments, take them serious and really start to explore the value that you're giving to people. Because once we get down into here, I give you the explanation of how we do this. I've created templates for about 12 different types of tweets or LinkedIn posts. And it really takes the burden off of you when you're in the middle of trying to do 18 different things for it to be very creative for you, and then you can take it and make minor modifications to make it your own. And I always recommend that you make sure that it's your own. And so these different types of tweets, comparison tweets, start and stop tweets. And my passion is 100% growing businesses. I love fitness. I love my kids. But for my business, I love helping companies launch. And I love hearing the feedback that they've implemented some of these things. And you're going to see that these templates are so helpful to have them written in your tone and style, and in a tone and style that's going to be attractive to your target market on there. So, Angela, I know that you've received some questions, and why don't you go ahead and ask me those? But I'm really excited to share this document with you, and you can start to find already, not just in niche domination, but if you look in viral tweet, you can see that all of these are already active for you to start to test, and for you to be able to start to see the results of what you need, because we're going to go through the efforts that you can go through, and even if you need to later on hire a virtual assistant to help you with some of the outreach. But we're really focusing on providing value, and as a result of it, we've seen hundreds of followers in the last 30 days on both platforms, and in X, formerly Twitter, we see certified followers, and on LinkedIn, we see followers of people that we would want to collaborate with, do business with, and it's very, very exciting. So we're super excited to show this to you guys. Ange, why don't you give me the questions that were emailed to you after you sent out the newsletter? Said I need some. Let's see. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, my 1:30 call went late, so I jumped on here at the last minute. Okay, so I am going to put this in the chat here so that people can see it and understand it. But Sarah wanted to know, what is the best way to communicate her unique value proposition across multiple platforms, and if AI tools can help with that.
Sarah, and so I'm not sure if Sarah's on or not. I can't see all the names of the people on the webinar jam. The answer is, the best way to communicate is, first you have to determine it. And as Christina and I were making our content calendar today, Christina, do you have those written down? And you're going to see my passions with this. So these are my unique value propositions, and every day people are engaging me with direct messages on X and on LinkedIn with these. So they're asking me about these things. I had a guy today that we went back and forth about kids. He posted a tweet about kids, and that's his whole content and his coaching, is to be able to help parents raise beautifully adjusted kids. And I said something about us having 5, and it entered this amazing conversation that we had back and forth about that. And so one of the best ways to do it, and Chris, if you'll share mine, one of the best ways to do it is to start to broadcast that unique value and that passion that you have inside of both explicit and I guess more subtle posts and tweets on there. So I know that's a little bit, some people may want to say, give me the exact answer. We do it multiple times per day. And what we're finding is, compared to LinkedIn, where we used to just send direct messages, which were basically a sales pitch, no one responded to those. But now when we go out and we seek out people with similar niches that we explore, that we work with, and we give them value and we show them some love based upon our UVP and also our passion, that right there has opened up a ton of doors for us in the last few weeks. Chris, what are the 5 that I told you that we're going to post on a regular basis going forward? And these are my passions, and we've wrapped our UVP. We'll show you how we did that. Go ahead, Chris.
So you have sales skills. That's the first
Sales
one.
skills.
Starting a business.
Starting a business, yeah.
Third one is the entrepreneurial health. Fourth is marketing and writing.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth one is funding your business.
Yep.
So that's our.
So one of the things in there, and we talked about doing fitness. I had a guy that I posted something on today. He said something, best way you can get out of depression is to get jacked. He's talking about being fitness, go out and hustle and serve other people. And I very much believe in fitness, and it's something that I'm going to start to talk a little bit more is, mental and physical health of an entrepreneur, and that is very much a passion of mine. And so as we're going through this, Angela, one of the best ways that, to answer that question of Sarah, as I look on there, is we're going to teach you how to do something that's called a thread, and you see them already. But the threads really have to be well thought out. You can't just take a thread just a little bit for granted, but you can also advertise threads on X and on LinkedIn. And that may be a good way to really get your account going after you've laid the foundation. But this niche domination I've seen out there, and Christina and I have purchased courses that are quite expensive. One of them was $1,000 just for the course, and a lot of them didn't teach some of the just most basic of things that you have to do with this. We're going to give this course away for free. So our value that we're bringing to them, yes, is a ton of information, but it's also the usage of all of these templates. So I've got a couple more I've got to write before we release it, but these templates are my passion, to be able to output content that sounds like me, that I approve when I put it out, without having to spend 30 minutes to come up with one simple 2x3 comparison tweet. So after you find your passion, for me, it's launching businesses. It's getting companies to have funding. It's having the right marketing with it. We're going to give this to the world, and then at the same point, we're going to offer access to Bimoto to help them simplify it. So hopefully that's the answer that helps. You guys give me feedback on that one. But the best way to communicate it is to discover it and then share it with the world on the different platforms. So there's your first one, Ange.
All right. Very good. Very cool. Okay, the second one that I have came from David. And let me put that in the chat there. So he's wanting to know, he's in Phoenix. He wants to know how to leverage some analytics to figure out how, his niche is setting him apart, especially if he's competing with people who are already established.
Sure. So that's a very good one as well. We look at our analytics nonstop. And one of the main things that you have to do if you are interested in building on Twitter or X, which I highly recommend, you have to you've got to pay that to get the blue tick, the blue check mark. You have to do it. Because if you do not know your analytics, and we're gonna show you some different ways to do that in future calls, but just this right here is so helpful and so encouraging to know. And like I said, you can see these dips right here. These dips were when we lost our blue check mark because we changed my image. And if you look at my image on here, it's not the way I want it to be. We screwed it up when we added it, but I don't dare change it again. It's got this big black circle around it. I don't dare change it again because it takes our blue tick off for 5 days. And we can still see all the premium things that are on here, but we instantly started losing followers. Instantly. And getting followers was much harder. So we don't have a big X account yet. So every follower counts. But one of the main things that it sees when you click on that, when you go on here, is you can see very much what your audience is, and you have to start to study this. So 78% of my audience is male, and it's mostly United States. And to me, that's really good. I know what times they're seeing things. I know that most people are looking at it on their phones. This is all super important to be able to know. And so let me come back here just to the home. If I go into my account right here, one of the things that you can see is you can start to see every single one of your posts and what they do. So this one, we know that people, that's why we have to talk about right here. We have to talk about mental health, and we have to talk about opportunity, because this one did better than a lot of the other ones. It's disappointing that we got 26 profile visits and no new followers from that, but that tells us that we probably need to be more specific on entrepreneurs. So a lot of these followers right here, or a lot of these views and likes, may not have been from my niche demographic. So that tells us that we need to be more specific with the content that we put in there. There's analytics all over in all of the different documents, and we're going to start, or all of the different platforms, and you have to pay attention. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to be writing content, and the market is screaming and telling you what to do. You just have to take the time to analyze it and to continually make it better and better. So I recommend that if you're going to be working on LinkedIn, that you upgrade. I highly recommend that if you're going to be on X, that you upgrade. And soon the Meta platforms are going to be making that more available as well, and we will upgrade on that as well. So hopefully that Mary says, that's impressive. Well, thanks, Mary. If those are the two questions, Ange, I'll take whatever the questions that anybody has on the call, and love to hear from you guys. Questions on anything, questions on your unique value proposition, or anything within Bimoto. Happy to do that as well. Okay, let me give you a couple different tips. No longer having lots and lots of followers guarantees on these platforms with the algorithms that you're going to get lots of views. That's really important for you to know. A person with 3,000 to 5,000 followers may have far more interaction than a person with 100,000 followers with the way that algorithms are going. And what that means is that you constantly have to be updating your way by doing exactly what I talked to you about, updating the way that you speak and interact with your audience. And I'm going to show you a study that I found. Let me go back up here. So here is something that I think you need to be aware of. According to Google's research, a typical buyer is going to spend 7 hours. That's a staggering number. 7 hours engaging with your brand's content before they buy. 7 hours. Do you have 7 hours of content for them to engage with? If not, understand that you have to start making it. All right, here's another question in here. Michael says he is looking for Google Doc you are referring to on this call. I will be sharing that, Michael, as I get it polished up in the next week or so. I've got about 4 more templates I've got to add to it, and Christina and I are testing those templates, and when it's ready, we'll share it with you, and I think it's going to be a difference maker. And we're also going to show you step by step, and Christina has been calculating all of it simply by, I think we've only added about 350 new followers on LinkedIn in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Is that about right, Christina? About 300 or 400?
That's correct, Jeff. Yeah.
But our engagement is way better than it ever was. We used to get no engagement, and now we're getting leads, and now we're getting interaction. And so with a mere 300 new followers on LinkedIn in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we have seen massive amounts of interaction, and I am in far more searches than ever before. And that's once again why I recommend that you pay for the upgrade on that, because you can see all of what's going on. And I just encourage you to get to know templates, and then when you come onto this call, you can ask me which ones are or are not working for us. If they're not working, by the way, I get rid of them. You may have noticed a loss of about 50 templates in the last few weeks. I just am dumping them because I'm really focusing on the things that move the needle. But just ask yourself, if a customer wanted to learn about you, do you have enough out there to teach them? It's kind of a penetrating question that some people may not want to answer, but I really hope that you understand that that's what we're trying to do, is give you what you need. So if you don't know what to do, how to do it, or why you should do it, you're going to have huge obstacles that you may feel are beyond your control. But by giving you this stuff, we hope that you will take advantage of the hours that we put into making sure that these different systems work. Because Chris, if you remember the $1,000 program that I paid for last year, did you even finish it? You can tell the truth.
I think I didn't finish it.
I know you didn't finish it because we had the conversation. I was just testing your honesty there, Chris. It didn't work. We implemented every stinking step on it. And what do you think it did to our Instagram following for that $1,000 course I purchased?
Not much, actually.
I don't think it did anything. So we are going through and we're testing, and we've purchased a number of courses, and we've learned some different things from them. But we're going to give this to you because what we want you to do is to use the system and take advantage of all this time that we're putting in to these different templates and the avatar training. I did train, so everybody knows, I did train. I did do a new video, Chris. Hopefully you can get that up with training your avatar. I can tell you that what I do almost every single day, and I have multiple demos every single day, and what I use over and over and over again when I demo this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to my customers, and it still blows their mind. Today I was working with another agency, and he goes, I can't believe how accurate this is describing my customer, because I did it for a customer of his. And then what I use almost every day too is part 2, which is this direct response headlines creator and a LinkedIn article writer. It does 90% of the work. I make my changes to it, and I constantly check it. It's human test with third-party programs, and it kills it. It kills it. And now so these niche domination ones are super valuable, as well as the viral tweet. Christina and I use these over and over and over again after we've trained our avatars. So if you have questions on training your avatar, be sure that you watch. Christina will notify everybody when that new one is out, and then let's also look for some of my past trainings of how I create the prompts. Okay.
Yeah, Jeff.
Any other questions, my friends?
There's another one, Jeff. Actually, like this is from Twitter, from X rather.
Uh-huh.
So what advice can you give to this she's a new entrepreneur doing, she has a lot of idea, so she's in different niches. She's doing SaaS, writing a book, and also like coaching. So she's kind of lost, and she needs help. So what advice can you give her?
All right. I'm going to say what I said to this agency owner guy today. So he went through and he goes, wow, this would be helpful. He kept saying that. Wow, this would be helpful. Whoa, that was good. Hey, I can't believe. And then at the end of it, and I just said, look, let's get you started. He goes, I don't know if I'm ready yet, Jeff. I'm like, what? I actually said that to him. I'm pretty bold now. I'm like, really? He said, I just don't know if it makes sense for me right now. I said, do you want to stay in business? Yeah. And I knew I'd lost the sale at this point, but I just wanted to drive it home to him, is that you cannot put off using some of these tools. You can't do it. So what I would say to that person, I remember reading that, I read it right before I got on. I thought, one, it's probably better if you pick one. So if you got 3 major projects, and Christina, you may say, well, shut up, Jeff, you're always doing 5 things at once. All right, don't confront me with the truth. But I work all the time. I love it. I actually do love it. And then if you're not the type of person that's going to work all the time, pick one major project, get it rolling, right? And use these tools. These tools, and as I was explaining it to this guy today, I used to charge $90,000 for people to engage with me. $90,000 for 3 months to work with me. That was 10 years ago. But I didn't have these tools that I have now. And I've taken 20 years of copywriting, 20 years of launching businesses, and I've poured my heart and soul into giving you these templates that work. So when I hear a person say to me, I just don't have the money to do it, I just think, then you're going to stay miserable. And I wrote that on Twitter the other day. Somebody asked something, and I just said, people would rather be comfortably miserable than uncomfortable and flourish. Success is uncomfortable. And as entrepreneurs, we wake up in the morning saying, I am screwed. But if you're the right type of entrepreneur, about 2 hours later, you say, I've got this. I have got this. And then about an hour later, like, I am screwed. And then about 2 hours later, you're right back up and I've got this. The challenge is to make those dips shorter so you can control your emotions as you go through it, and to be with people that are asking questions and improving and helping you along the way. You guys can do this. I do recommend, if you've got 3 major things at once, unless you're willing to work 12 hours, 14 hours sometimes, then pick the one major one that you're doing. Make sure that you've got your passion. That's what we did last week. And make sure you know your value. And then don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. You have a value. Quit reducing your price because you haven't improved your sales skills. You know what you're worth. That's what these skills are here to help you do, is to give you the background and the skills that you need to be able to take your business to the next level. So I know that's not exactly the answer that she'd probably want to hear, Christina, but I would say is invest into tools, mentors, and systems that are going to improve your life. That's what I'd suggest. Hopefully that helps. Jillian, I'll give you the last word today. Thomas said, sounds like a Hormozyism. He says the F word a lot now, so I can't listen to him as much, but I sure do like his books. But go ahead, Jillian. Love to hear from you and anybody else, and then we'll sign off for the week.
Fascinated to me when you talked about just the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. And I was just kind of giggling because it was almost like you were in our office with us today. We were just in the sky because we just landed this really big account that was just going to be what we wanted. And then we had this hiccup and it was like, it's all crashing. And then we kind of got it resolved thanks to Christina. So it was kind of a reminder of just the importance of having a village, bringing us back to it's all, and it's not, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And I really have felt that from you and everyone in the Bimoto community. Excuse me. And so I really try to take that with me when I meet with my clients and let them know I care about their success. I care so much that I'm willing to be uncomfortable and take the time to explore new platforms that may help me help them. Some of them may work great. Some of them I'm like, oh God, don't tell anybody that happened. Let's just move on. And then, my team is sort of secrecy of the failures, but it is just being brave, moving on, and knowing that it's okay if this tool doesn't work, and it may work for a time and then not be the right fit in the future, and feeling okay to iterate with it.
Well, very well stated. And there's no question that we're here together to be able to help you make it work. We're putting hours behind the scenes, and we love your feedback. Keep those questions coming. Super excited to continue to help you build your businesses. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.